Hello, and welcome back to the second time that Vorn and I are sitting here telling you all about what we're reading this month.
Yes, it's our second episode of this brand new series.
Yep. So that means we get to talk about if we continued reading anything from last time, if any new books have come out, what we've started reading new, all that sort of stuff. So I want to start this out with, guess what arrived a few days ago? It's volume 2 of something I mentioned last time, Titan's Bride. So I've definitely still been reading that, much to everyone's pain and suffering. It's very good. I highly recommend it.
Well, for me, I actually had internet and power outages, so I haven't been able to actually read too much. But
it's been terrible. I've also had internet and power outages.
Yeah, I actually have been reading, more rereading / also continuing, realistic. Oh, cat.
Guest star.
Yeah, say hello to Peaches, everybody.
No.
Eating cat. Oh my. Let me actually make sure. How a realistic hero rebuilt the kingdom?
Yeah. Have you watched the anime for that yet?
A little bit. Anime is not as good, I feel.
I think I didn't think the anime was bad.
It's not great. I still like the books far more better, but that's kind of what you will find. You'll not find that many great adaptations, I feel. Like, you'll find some, but not many.
Yeah, but no, you're right. It's a good one, and I was reading it a while back, too, although I gave it up when the anime came out.
If you do actually like a kind of, not action, but a little bit more like political stuff, you might enjoy it, such as Knick-Knack, but Knick-Knack don't got time.
That's fair. I recently caught up with I've Become a True Villainess. It's available on Manta, so and I have the Manta subscription, so I was able to kind of binge my way all the way through it this last month. It's it's one where it's reincarnation into the villainess of a historical romance novel. But I really like this one. I think the main character kind of makes the choice at the beginning. She's like, I will settle for the dude that like the heroine doesn't get, in the hopes that nothing bad will happen. But it doesn't exactly work out the way she's thinking.
She tracks all of them, doesn't she?
No, actually, some bad shit goes down and she almost dies. Through no fault of her own.
Death flag, yep.
Yeah. Not even a normal death flag.
Really?
Just some bullshit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I really like it. And the art's really pretty.
For me, I actually started to read a new novel during this time period. It is called, let's see. God dang it, I need to just double check this so you can cut this out. Probably. Let me make sure I got the freaking correct link. God damn it. I need to actually search this. Not that. Okay, here we go. It's I became the villain the hero is obsessed with, and I'm mostly reading it now out of stubbornness right here. It's a good premise. There's just a lot of holes in it, and it might also be the author's writing style, or might be the translator's writing style. As I said, good premise, good base, not good execution at all right there. So yeah, so I might try to find something that's
Are you
like
reading
that.
it on an official translation or a
fan translation, of course?
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
the story itself is probably fine. It's just the translation has a lot of errors to
Oh
it.
no, there is definitely plot holes. I will say that.
well.
So, yeah,
Plot holes are separate.
yeah.
Yeah. I started reading A Business Proposal, which is a really funny. So I followed this on Webtoon when it first started coming out, and it just got a K-drama on Netflix called A Business Proposal, and I recently started watching the K-drama too, but I'm reading it as well, and it's pretty funny. It's about this dude who becomes the heir of the company, and his grandfather's like, you need to marry, so I've set you up on a bunch of arranged dates. And so he's like, I'm just going to marry the woman from the first date, regardless. So that way he'll get off my back. Except the woman from the first date, she doesn't want to go on the date, so she sends her friend to pretend to be like a horrible person to get him to not do it. And shenanigans ensue. Apparently she's been doing this for a while too. They have a whole exorcism bit
Oh my!
that they've done for
shenanigans.
some arranged marriage meetings.
At this point, just marry the friend.
Right. But no, it's very funny and very good.
That's nice. I actually have continued reading despite being pursued as a villain, all the heroines are on my side, and I might still pursue it out of sheer stubbornness again, but it has become very much a romance novel more than I normally want. Like, you would expect a little bit of romance, but this is kind of pretty much romance in every single goddamn chapter. It gets kind of annoying for me. I am not that kind of man.
That makes sense. I'm currently rereading The Lady and Her Butler again. It's like my third time, but I love it so much. It's a modern day workplace romance. I don't know if you've read The Lady and Her Butler.
No, I have not.
But basically she gets a roommate, and she thought the roommate would be a girl and the roommate thought it would be a guy, but they end up with the roommate and he can't find anywhere else to go, and he doesn't have a job, so he basically becomes like her live-in cook and cleaner, her live-in cook and cleaner, and romance ensues. It's quite a sweet story in the end, and I really enjoy it. It's also completed with a couple of side stories and spin-offs, so I really enjoy it.
So what I've been reading is Release That Witch, but I've been reading the manga. The novel has been fully translated right there, and it's fully finished right there. I really do like that novel right there. It is kind of like the realistic kingdom, like that reforms stuff, in terms of how like sometimes getting a little bit of politics, but also it does more in towards the industrial side, and me being a engineering major really kind of likes at least a little bit of that like industrial kind of side stuff and technological advancements right there. But I do find that the manga does leave a little bit of like some of the stuff that you'll find in the novel out, but it's still a very nice read. So I do recommend it right there. It's not like the absolute best thing, because it is very long, so you do like get a ton of like sometimes side characters, and some side characters you'll like and you'll want to figure out what happens to them at the end, and you kind of don't because they drop off. So yeah, which kind of sucks, but you got what you got. So yeah, and some of the stuff is a little bit forced, but yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. That tracks. I'm also reading Adeline's Darkest Night.
Ooh, that sounds very nice.
Yeah, so this one, basically, it's not an isekai, but it is a reborn again after being murdered by the man that she loved.
Oh, ooh, right in the heart.
Yeah, and basically she's like, I don't want to deal with this, and she's kind of a bitch about it. Like
she
kind of
stabbed by the guy.
Yeah.
Like that's straight for the heart.
Yeah,
literally and figuratively.
It's almost like the side character becomes a villainess, where she's just like, you know what? I deserve nice things, and I'm gonna fucking get nice things. That's the attitude she kind of comes at it from, and I think that's a really fun attitude.
So I have one last thing that I've been reading during this month, and it's a raunchy one because god damn it, this is what I've been only able to read. And that is, let me pull this up, make sure I got the fucking correct name because I have to start talking about something raunchy.
Vaughn doesn't read much raunchy stuff, so this is rare. That's normally my wheelhouse, of which I read many every month.
Yes.
I have like 7 open on my phone right now. This is why I got Legend Plus. So I could read the raunch.
What the fuck is it? God damn it. Oh, okay. Here we go. Let me freaking make sure this is correctly loaded. The case about the ladies from a noble family who turned out to be yanderis after I saved them. Mostly just because,
This is a harem, too.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. You hitting all the upticks.
I mean, I got into, like, a little bit of, like, oh, I like to read some of the yandere stuff because, lovey-dovey, I like that kind of stuff. Yeah, that kind of went far off on that one. Read if you want to actually read that kind of stuff, but, it's okay in terms of my taste at least, but, like, I don't know if you really want to if you don't like that kind of yandere kind of stuff. It's not as raunchy as, like, explicit sex raunchy, but, like, you at least know when they're probably going to do it, they just don't say it.
Less raunchy than the stuff Seki's been reading.
There's very little that could be raunchier than the stuff Seki's been reading. So,
Yeah.
my last book for today is Get Schooled. It's on Webtoon, and I've actually been reading this for 5 or 6 months now, back since it only had, like, 2 chapters. And it is... So the main character works in the Ministry of Education, but this story is set forward in time in Korea, and it's after something happened, and the Ministry of Education declared that teachers were no longer allowed to punish students in any way. They could not touch them, they could not verbally abuse them, etc., etc., and the students start running wild, obviously, because there's no consequences for anything. And so a new Minister of Education takes over, and he basically says, well, so I'm going to create the TRPA, Teachers Rights Protection Agency, essentially, because teachers are being abused, like being driven to suicide and stuff by their students. And so he creates, and the students, the teachers can't discipline them for bullying each other either.
Okay.
So they can't, like, defend the kids who are getting bullied very well because they can't do anything about it. So, and then he hires a couple of, like, special forces operatives from the military, and they basically go into problem schools where problems are reported, like students, like, killing themselves or teachers getting killed and stuff like that. And they, with whatever means are deemed necessary, fix the problem.
So, extreme drill sergeants. Got it.
Basically.
Oh my.
Yes. I mean, as you can see from the cover, I really enjoy it. It is quite brutal. But yeah, I very much enjoy it.
Yeah, let's just tie like a kid to a bungee rope without telling him it's bungee rope and kick him off a ledge into a nearby river.
I mean, what is it? There's one of them where like the kid's like is good at fighting or something like that, and one of the TRPA agents just beats the ever loving shit out of him.
I mean, that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, there's always each like chunk of segments about a specific school covers like a certain issue, and they do treat kind of disturbing issues with a lot of the respect that they need to be treated in, and there's a fair amount of actually fairly good advice in it as to like what you should or shouldn't do, you know. But I mean, it is a very brutal and violent story.
Is that a Korean author or what?
Korean author, yeah.
Yeah. And if you actually haven't been into any schooling in Asia, especially if you're going from, let's see, preschool to all the way to high school. College kind of doesn't count anymore because at college they kind of let them be free. But yeah, usually during that time period, you are spending a lot of time preparing for just one big final test that will decide what college you go into, or you go into trade school or anything like that. And students get stressed out a lot. There's actually, in Asian schools, especially China, Japan, Korea, not that much down south, I think, though, because they don't actually have that much of a big test, at least that I know of. But you actually do see a lot of suicide in those kids right there, because it is just such a stressful environment right there. Like, you think like that in a Western school that you just go to, well, most of us is 8 to 3. Like, that's just your normal day of schooling. For them, no.
Then you have cram school and tutoring and prep school and after school activities, and the year runs differently as to how long you're getting breaks. Like, I don't think they get like a big 3-month break like we do in the US for summer. They get different breaks at different things. So it's very different, and there is a relatively high suicide rate, especially for students. And so yeah, it's not great. But anyways, I do really like the webtoon, and it I think it gives a fair amount of respect to the issues it covers. And as someone whose parents are teachers, you know, and have been, and I've grown up with my parents being teachers, I hear a lot about, you know, students misbehaving and not listening. And there's very little that teachers can do in certain parts of the world, because you're told, you know, you can't fail the student, you have to pass them through, they have to do this, they have to do that, and there's not much a teacher can do, and it kind of leaves them, and you know, when you're hearing about it, it leaves you feeling like, wow, there's just helpless, there's nothing you can do. Anyways, I've also recommended this to my mom for her to read, so I'm probably gonna see if she'll read it later. Yeah,
because like, considering you got 30 students, 3 of them are like just going around. Like, you have to watch the other 27 right there, no matter how good they are.
Yeah.
Because just these 3, so like, you can't do anything about them, can't kick them out, you can't do anything with them in here.
It's rough in public schools. It's hard for every child and student to get the attention they deserve to help them succeed in the best way. And it's hard for teachers to deal with so many students when instances of bullying and stuff occur. And, you know, the point of the story, by reducing it to the point where teachers can do nothing, all of that just runs rampant and becomes worse and worse and worse. Which is a message that I agree with. The less power you give to teachers, the less, you know, the less students in a classroom are going to be controllable. I don't think it's necessarily the case that, you know, take the authority away from the teachers and the students will regulate themselves. That no, they won't.
No.
They're children. They are mostly children, emotions running high, puberty, you know, and like peer pressure. It's not. Anyways, I think you should read the webtoon. I really enjoy it. It's on Webtoon, the app, and it is one of the ones where you can get a new episode every couple days. So you would be able to catch up and keep up to date with it.
Yeah, that's a good discussion.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for watching this video. We haven't seen comments yet on episode 1 because I think the day we're recording it just released. So so if you still do actually have anything you would like us to change, and you put in episode 1 and you're saying, hey, why didn't you do this yet? We haven't seen it yet. But you also have some other things you want to tell us right there. Put it in the comments. Also, any books that you might want us to read, go ahead, put it in the comments as well. We really, really want some new stuff to read, because it's a bit hard to find some new stuff.
Yeah, so like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next month.
Bye!